Hello and welcome back to Behind the Bands, the place to take a look at and learn of bands from around your area. We're your hosts, Peyton Neale
and Austin Prince, and today we'll be taking a look at a solo act in the folk/folk rock genre, Dalia, Neale.
Let's get started with his original song, Something to Lose.
Making sure I learn all the lessons. Gonna board one more train. I'm gonna ride it to the end. At least until my cigarette goes out again. And ever since I got here, I've been wondering, does this mirror always see the same? Was my baggage always this heavy? Marching down that hard line with Calliope's blues in my mind, with Calliope's blues in mind. At times my mind goes back to times that have been, making sure I learned all the lessons. Gonna buy a nice house, something with more than just a few rooms. You'll be my queen when I finally got something to lose.
That was Something to Lose, the original song from Dalia. So you're a single act play. Do you feel like you have more stress on yourself from being solo, or do you feel more free rather than being in a actual band?
It's definitely a high risk, high reward kind of thing. Without a roadie, obviously I have to haul all my own gear, but I also get all the pay, I get all of the recognition, but of course you have to do all the work. I would say I love it just as much. Working with people has a certain magic, but working by yourself also allows me to create a much more intimate and vulnerable atmosphere than if I had a bunch of other people on stage with me. So it really is not any better than the other way around, but it's just something else.
You have also said that you started liking music from your mother's side of the family. So when would you say was the start of your music career?
I would definitely say around 10 or 11. Up until that age, I kind of resented my family for trying to get me to learn music, and then finally it just clicked, and then that was all I wanted to do for about the next 8 to 9 years.
Yeah, I get you. Families force you into things, and you're just like, I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, wait, I actually really like this.
Yeah.
I think that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So with your career, are you a full-time or are you a part-time musician?
I'm a part-time trying to go full-time right now. I do hold a day job in my spare time, but a lot of my time, luckily, is able to be spent playing and coming here and doing things like this.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
Okay, so what would you say some of your inspirations are for your music, and what has helped you form yourself as an artist?
Definitely some of my biggest inspirations, artists like the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie was brought up earlier actually in a conversation, the Grateful Dead. I draw on all these inspirations to really define what I would call a folk rock sound. But in terms of just bands that have shaped me, it's been all kinds of music. My biggest passion is jazz, for sure. I love jazz music, but I started with grunge and 90s music and worked my way through blues and hip hop and country and everything. So.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you balance your music and everyday life?
Scheduling. Scheduling is your biggest friend. Schedule everything ahead if possible. Know what's up. Check in regularly. That kind of thing. It really is a self-management that you have to become accustomed to.
Yes.
But that balance, just like anything else in life, I feel like life is about balance. So finding that balance has been difficult, but it's been part of the journey and it's part of the fun, for sure.
Okay, I see. So the message for the kids at home is schedule, schedule, schedule.
Yeah, schedule and moderation in all things. That is my message.
We will get back to this interview after this Dalia and Neale original, Put People in Cars.
Before you see the city moving, you feel the fog clouds moving. He said he moved on from his life. He said moving in was on decline. He's so ashamed of his old being that he left his heart on a quicksand beach. He couldn't see for his eye. He couldn't stand the sight. He said it'd be nice. He said it'd be nice. He couldn't see for his eye. He couldn't stand the sight. He said it'd be nice. He said it'd be nice. She said she'd leave her to fight. Such a circumstantial state, she wanted somewhere to sleep. She said she ought to start living cheaper than she'd ever done before. She couldn't see for her eyes, she couldn't stand the sight. She said it'd be nice, she said it'd be nice. She couldn't see for her eyes, she couldn't stand the sight. She said it'd be nice, she said it'd be nice. She couldn't see for her eyes, she couldn't stand the sight. She said it'd be nice, she said it'd be nice. Dark glow of the nightlife, sudden sun and shimmering stars. Let's put down love, baby, before time clips Cupid's wings. And you heard the worst of it, and the ladies cry, and you got the worst of it. Me, myself, and I try to represent you, but our spotlights are out of time. But the sky below us shines like a nightlight.
Welcome back. You've stated that your genre is folk and folk rock. What has drawn you to that particular genre?
I think being a solo artist, for one, without a lot of tech or just fancy gear, lends itself to the folk and folk rock genre, but also there's just so much, I don't want to say merit, but I'll say merit in the genre that I think has been just lost over time. And I think there's a lot of things that can and should be done with it to keep it alive and keep it going. And so I love being able to participate in my solo work to the folk and folk rock genre because it is a long-standing tradition that deserves its place in the Musical Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So is folk and folk rock like the only genres you want to do, or do you want to like branch out and like experiment with like different genres as well? Because you've stated before, like you were really into jazz and all that stuff.
Yeah, so actually I'm working on another album after this first one that I'm working on producing right now. And that album I'm hoping plans to branch out from a lot of the more folk and folk rock themes that I've kind of established in these songs I played today, and branch out into things like jazz.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're gonna use this next album as a chance to experiment with your sound and grow and evolve as an artist?
Yes, of course, that's the plan for the sophomore.
Yes, I love when artists do that. That is like one of my favorite things. That is so cool.
Yeah, and writing your own songs, because all the songs you're doing today are originals. How do you go about writing them?
A lot of it is actually the maintenance of a relationship. So I am a musician that very much believes in a kind of muse. My ideas, I feel like, just kind of come out of the blue sometimes. Sometimes I'll be just humming a melody at work and then I'll come home and it'll be a song within 15 minutes. Other times I won't have anything for weeks at a time. But for me, it's really about the consistency of writing every day or of doing anything creative that stays in contact with whatever that inspiration point seems to be for so many people. And I feel like as long as you treat that relationship well, that relationship will treat you back in turn.
Okay. And with you doing mainly a folk/folk rock genre, does that affect where you play and what places will book you?
Definitely, for sure. I want, not only as an artist, but for the convenience of both me and the person who's hiring me in terms of business, of course I want to play somewhere where we're both going to be enjoying ourselves, we're both going to be making a little bit of money, and we're both going to be where we should be. So of course I'm going to want to prefer to gig in a coffee house rather than a biker bar. And that's something I have to be very conscious about when I try to go out and book gigs or play places or make connections with new people.
All right. So do you have like any places that you love to play at, or places that you plan that you really want to play at?
A big goal for me is to get a couple gigs out in the Tulsa area. I would love to play more in Tulsa. I've gotten to go out there once or twice now, and it is just such a lovely area. In terms of kind of home venues, I love to hang around the Pillar a lot. It's a home venue out here in Joplin, but I also like to hit up the bars as often as I can. TJ Leland's in Pittsburgh is another place that I particularly enjoyed playing at. So there are all kinds of places, but really I just like to go wherever I'm able to play. I'm really genuinely just happy to play most of the time.
Yeah. So with Tulsa and all that, is there like any specific reason? Would you maybe plan on like making that like a home base or something like that?
Potentially in the future. I just love the culture. Tulsa and Northwest Arkansas do have a totally kind of different thing going on than Joplin right now, and I very much enjoy the difference between both sides of the river, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah. So like, what is that exactly atmosphere that's different? Just out of curiosity.
I feel like Tulsa has this more laid-back vibe that's really focused on more folk music, right? I feel like most of the venues in the area and the culture is a little bit more laid-back and ready for something as intimate and vulnerable as the music I feel like I perform.
I see. So you're wanting to go where like, or there's like a want for that type of music
kind of like
that you
we
play?
were talking with the scheduling. It's almost just a consciousness of knowing like there are going to be more opportunities, there's going to be more connections made here than there is here. And so it really does boil down to that in a way, but also I just love being there as a person and someone who loves to travel and explore different places.
I see. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a listen to another original song, The Wait.
I hate the way when I am driving and it slows me down. When I am you just pass on. It's the weight that slows me down. It's the weight that weighs me down now. And I hate these weights. They keep me from breathing. And I like the way we are being. And this slows me down until my heart stops beating. And the way becomes freedom, but I can't move on from this, and you gave no reason, but I hate the weight when I am driving, and it slows me down. When I am trying, and it's the way that slows me down. And it's the way that weighs me down now. And it's the way that slows me down. And it's the way that weighs me down now.
That was The Weight. So we've talked about you being currently part-time, but what are your hopes for the future of your career?
So going into 2024, I'm releasing an album come April. I'm not going to say much more than that for right now, but I've got the first singles dropping in January on the 20th. And my hope really with the album and getting my website up and all these different things coming together is that I will be able to book out most of my schedule and, like I said, make that transition from somebody who's doing music part-time to somebody who can do it full, if not just most of the time. And so that really is my goal, is to just book and make connections and get to play wherever I can play and really cut my teeth and enjoy myself doing it.
Yeah.
Now, you've said that, if I remember this correctly, you said that for the time being, that you're okay with being a solo act. Is there ever, like, down the line where you're wanting to maybe form a band, and what it would take to get to that, kind of thing for you?
Oh, I've got a couple things. I've always had a couple things in mind. That's a question I get asked a lot, is Dalia, when are you going to do a band? But right now I'm just happy where I'm at. I feel like I need to get this record out before I can do much of anything else. And so that really is my focus right now, but it's possible, it's not possible. I don't want to hint it too much or make any empty promises,
Yeah.
get anybody excited, but there are conversations being had behind closed doors right now, yeah.
Ooh,
So-
now that's it. Now,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So,
Okay. So I know we sort of talked about, but what are some venues that people can find you at next?
currently I don't have any venues booked, actually. I've had to take a little winter break and get some things out of the way in my personal life. I had some family emergencies earlier this year that prevented me as well.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Understandable, yeah.
But a lot of that pressure, again, is going into 2024, putting all the chess pieces in place so that when we do kind of come out of the cold, I can come out at 125%, running full swing. So that is the game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But you can find any upcoming dates on my website or on either of my socials, Facebook, Instagram. It's both Dalia and Neale, very straightforward and simple, easy to find. You can find me there. You can access it through my Instagram or my Facebook. Either are both very accessible, and you can contact me there. In terms of listening to my music, if you do want to listen to anything before the album drops, I've got a bunch of bootlegs up on SoundCloud right now, just to kind of get the sound out there and kind of establish some things outside of just live performance. But live performance really is where my act, I feel like, shines. So that is the focus, is to not let off of that too much. So all in all, those are my plans.
Yeah.
All right.
And with SoundCloud, is it still just Dalia Neale?
Yes, it's just Dalia and Neale, just like everything else.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dalia, for coming here. And thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode of Behind the Bands.
And if you want to be featured on a future Behind the Bands, please reach out to us on our KGCS Facebook page, facebook.com/KGCSTV.
We will close out this with more of Dalia Neale's originals, No Harm Done and Better Weather.
See ya.
This next song is called No Harm Done. Till I got no place to run. Oh, no wrong time. And I don't know how to feel when you're not around. I got no place to lie. Whoa, no lost time. Babe, your lips are the gun. So just wait until the old tongue meets my trigger. Yes, I say just wait till your tongue meets my trigger. Yes, I say just wait till your tongue meets my trigger. This one's called Better Weather. Well, I guess I'm gonna do this and regret it later. 1460, time takes its toll on me. I guess I'm gonna follow you, though I know better. I've seen better weather, nothing pretty like you. No rumor has you went down at the White House talking about how you got yourself a nice new spouse. There ain't no one for you here now, get out. Damn, baby, took the words right out of my mouth. With a red-headed priest who was talking about fatherhood, I'm sure she'll be fine with Lucifer on her shoulders. Well, I guess I'm gonna do this and regret it later. 1460, time takes its toll on me. I guess I'm gonna follow you, though I know better. I've seen better weather, not pretty like you. Come on, quick now, boy, you better date her before she finds another reason to see you later. Goddamn son, she got you on the run. Told you take a chance, now you're having no fun. Till your panties on a twist, but don't you think you throw a bitch fit a bit too quick? Well, I guess I'm gonna do this and regret it later. 1460, time takes its toll on me. I guess I'm gonna follow you, though I know better. I've seen better weather, nothing pretty like you. Call me one last time, write a letter. We can talk about all the times you knew better. Ooh, what is up? You smell with the kids. I'm gonna fuck cold ass under a lid. better when you were still sober, but I think it's just easier now everything's over. And I keep singing to myself, well, I guess I'm gonna do this and regret it later. 460, and time takes its toll on me. I guess I'm gonna follow you, though I know better. I've seen better weather, nothing pretty like you. Well, I guess I'm gonna do this and regret it later. 460, and time takes its toll on me. I guess I'm gonna follow you, though I